And just a small reminder that I've mentioned in the book as well. It's a caution. It's a disclaimer. Please do not read this book alone at night. So that's a warning.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of SYWK Podcast, where you can find everything related to paranormal. Finally, after so long, I have a guest on my podcast. I'm really excited for this episode because we spoke about paranormal, ghost stories, horror books, and particularly one book which not everyone can read. Trust me, right now, it is one of India's scariest books to read in 2022. And the book's name is The 10 Commandments of Evil. From the title itself, you can understand how scary this book is going to be once you read it. And the best part is, the author of the 10 Commandments of Evil is also the guest for today's episode. He is the one and only Vignesh Siva Sankar. It's going to be a fun conversation because we spoke about his book, and the best part is he has even narrated a few lines from it. So listen till the end for a fun conversation if you enjoy horror content. Also, a special announcement. For the people who are listening to this episode on YouTube, comment below and tell me how did you like the title. I will select a random person and send you a free book copy. Free. And if you're listening to this episode on any of the audio platforms, come on YouTube and comment below. You never know, you might get lucky with a free copy at your doorstep. It's time now to sit back and enjoy our conversation. But before that, if you like my content, please support my work by liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. It will really help me grow. Thanks in advance, and now let's get started. Before we jump into your book and talk about your book, especially the title, if you can give an introduction about yourself for the people who are listening.
I was born and brought up in Chennai, like every other guy. I did my engineering and then my master's as well. And I've been in a corporate world for about 10 to 11 years as a marketing professional. And I've been writing for about 3-4 years now. My work has been published in various media. This is my debut book. It is all about the experiences I've gained in the 10 to 11 years of marketing stint put together. So that's pretty much about me.
That's nice. But I have a question. You come from a marketing background. So how did the idea of writing a book come up? Because when I watched your book launch with Siddharth Nirwan, you told everyone you got the idea of your book title when you visited a bank. But before that, can you tell us how did you get the concept of writing such a book, and why particularly a horror book?
Horror has always been my favorite genre right from the beginning. I mean, like every other child, you get intrigued by the horror, by the ghosts, the monsters, and yeah, you've seen all those horror movies and you get inspired. You read all Stephen King books and you get inspired. So when I thought of actually writing down something on my own, it actually didn't come as an horror where I was writing a novel, but when people share their experiences with the paranormal forces, like this is what I felt, but I was not a person who have lived their life to understand what they have felt. But the way they explained to me, like this is what has happened in my life, which has no meaning or it, I thought, okay, fine, I'll put it down, in form of a book. But when it turned out, it wasn't that very a bigger chapter to write it as a novel. So that's the reason why I thought of breaking it down into a set of short stories. So that's how the idea came in, to put 10 short stories of the horror genre.
That's nice. But before going more in deep about your stories and about your book, let's talk about the title. How did you come up with this title and what made you decide? Because definitely when you might be writing the book, you might be having different suggestions as well from your friends, from your wife, or from your family. Why did you select this title?
Yeah, it's actually an interesting thing. So when my collection was done, I mean, the first draft of the manuscript was done, I was looking about for titles, and as you already know, I mean, choosing a title itself has a course in creative writing, like how
Correct.
to better choose your title. And many Indian horror stories had the same cliche like ghost stories or horror stories. So I don't want to label it in that sense. So initially I kept it like, like fright fiction or something like that, which, it's a fiction which will create some fright, but I was not able to get the right sense of what I'm trying to say. And every of my story, all these stories that I've written down has a specific instructions from the devil, which says something. So this was running around my mind for some time, and when the banks got open, actually after the first wave or something, the banks got open, and we were like, now I can go to a bank to withdraw some money. And that's where I think in the manager's cabin or somewhere there was written the 10 Commandments. So the 10 Commandments is basically from the Old or the New Testament, which gives you the rules or ethics on how to lead your life. And that's when it got, that you say the bulb glows. Okay, right, the 10 Commandments. This is my 10 stories are the 10 Commandments, but it's not from God, but from evil. So that's how the 10 Commandments of evil was born. And
yeah, that's really nice. I feel your marketing skills also helped here, because trust me, I was randomly going on Facebook, and before this, I have interviewed Siddharth Nirwan, Neil Diswilla, a couple of horror authors on my channel, and I was randomly going on Facebook, and your book suddenly came up, because Siddharth Nirwan, the author of Dead People's Town, he shared your book cover, and I just stopped, and I seen the book cover and I seen the name. So with this name itself, it gave me interest that, boss, I have to read this book no matter what. So hats off to the name. So now let's go towards the book. What is this book about? What are the short stories?
Sure. So the 10 Commandments of Evil, like I mentioned, is 10 short anecdotes, 10 short stories, which are handpicked from across the country. Basically, it is all my experiences and during my marketing stint, going to various locations, various cities and states. I used to meet different people during my journey, and they used to share different stories. Their love stories, it could be their family story, it could be their financial losses, everything. But being a fan of horror, the thing that induced me a lot is when people share their experiences about the paranormal or supernatural things that they have experience in their lives. And obviously I don't think so there will be any person who can deny that I haven't experienced something which is supernatural or paranormal in their lives. Just closing by the window screen, you're sleeping and you suddenly hear a rustle of a leaf, you're waking up, something is there, something is not there. Even atheists will have that one moment of quick, oh my God.
Correct, yeah.
And then they, no, it's something else, So when people share these different stories, so I thought like, wow, this is something which is not yet written before. I mean, I should write something which is not yet written before. It is not like a paranormal investigator or somebody who wants to write fiction specifically about horror wants to write it. I thought of bringing out the horror stories right from the livelihood, the lives of people, which will transform into a bigger horror stories. So I think that's where the concept came in, and that's where I think the book is also out. Because of that.
That's nice. So whoever wants to read this book, I'll leave the link in my description. So go buy the book, and let's go ahead right now with our conversation. So talking about horror books, and especially about your book, I ask everyone, whoever I interview, do you believe in the paranormal? Do you believe in the supernatural? What is your point of view?
Point blank, yes. Supernatural or paranormal is something which is a little bit away from normal, something which deviates you, takes you from normal. So whatever interviews I've attended, that the competitor asked me the same question, do you believe in ghosts? So I just point out the similar question, do you believe in God? And they say yes. So have you seen a ghost before? And then I'll ask, have you seen a God before? They say, no, you just have to feel it. You answered my own question. You have to just feel it. You just feel the presence of it. Sometimes the evil mind, the human mind works in such evil and crooked ways that you can find, a demon within a human being doing, supernatural paranormal stuff.
Correct, yeah.
Right. So So it's there, it's everywhere, it's like air, it's present. You just have to look out for those stories. So it's
Yeah, well said, well said. If there is God, then there has to be an evil. If there is good, there has to be bad. Let's go to the next question. If you can read or narrate something from your book for our listeners, it will be really amazing for us.
So I'm going to read a passage from my book. This is the second story. Basically, it's called Shades of Horror. So I'm just going to read it so that you'll understand the conflict of the character in that story, basically.
Sure.
So I cannot prescribe medicines for your child, madam. For the millionth time, the scribbling you see on the prescription is my signature and not the name of the drugs you need to buy. Dr. Peter disconnected the call. He punched the number 6 on the dial pad. Trina, no more emergency calls. I'm in the middle of a session, for heaven's sake. He settled in his seat. I prepare a list of items before speaking to my patients. I don't have one for you. Yet, I need to discuss with you as your therapist because your mother is too annoying. How do you put up with her? Said Dr. Peter as he chuckled. There was no smile on the frightened girl's face. He adjusted his spectacles so that its silicone nose were perched on his nasal doors. She was still. She sat mute for a long time. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers. Dr. Peter quoted as he browsed Pinterest. Very well then, let me start this all over again, okay? The girl looked straight into the eyes of the doctor. My name is Riha. The doctor rendered a smile. And I'm 10 years old studying in class 5. Well, that's brilliant. The doctor ruminated for a moment. The girl snapped. I stay with my mom and dad. I was born and brought up in Hyderabad, a typical Telugu-speaking family who wants to do my MS in the US. The doctor raised his eyebrows, exhaled deeply with his mouth open, wide, and pondered for a while. Now I understand the concerns of your parents, Riha, said the doctor. People cannot keep secrets from you. He nodded his head. You have what we call in the medical world a special extrasensory perception, a telepathic power, in short, the capability to read another person's thoughts. A rare case of psychic potential, and the doctor prattled until he was tired. Great. Another medical term for my condition? I don't know if I have such superpowers. I just took a guess. My issue is different. An elaborate version of what you just said, a unique one. And that is, there is this thing that freaks me out now and then. I know I'm not a normal girl. A teardrop ran over her cheek as the air conditioner chilled her face. She gazed at the mad traffic outside the glass window. The clinic was perched on the 8th floor of a 11th floor commercial building in Jubilee Hills. Let me tell you something confidential. The objective of our session today is to share secrets. Many children have revealed their hidden truth in this very room and have got solution. They lead a better life, a happy life once they exit from here. I'm here to help you out, said the doctor. She was spun. Riha, what is it? Dr. Peter repeated the question a couple of times. Riha and her quietude were as deep as an ocean. The doctor hung around for a few minutes and he said, deep as the ocean, my foot, she's deep as hell. It's okay. If you don't want to talk to me right now, we can meet some other time. Is that fine with you? The only sound they heard was a gentle cold air gushing out of the blower of the air conditioner, where the lower swung up and down. I smell things, said Riha as she broke the silence. Okay, what do you smell? I can smell stuff that others can't see. A gut-clutching stench. When I describe my condition to people around me, they don't believe me. They assume why a girl who plays with ponies, unicorns, and Barbie dolls cook up something that emanate malodor, doctor. You pick up bad smells, you visualize things that are not there. You like Hannah Montana, Justin Bieber, and Jonas Brothers. Your neurologists and psychologists have written all these in their notes. That is all fine. But what do you feel, Riha? What are you going through that even your parents don't want to believe? The girl gave away a tender puff of hair, opened her eyes and overflowed with tears and said, when I see people, I do see everyone casually and nothing happens. But when I observe them with utmost concentration, when I look through their souls, they emulate a smoky kind of aura around their body. I can smell danger. I get a sniff of their aura and I sense something mysterious. Everyone has a different smell, doctor. Babies usually emulate pleasant, smoothing fragrance, and the older ones are suffocating, a dark, pungent smell. And why do you think you're having such sensations, Riha? It's their death. The aromatic intensity is directly proportional to the time of the death, doctor. So this is one of the stories which has a subline that a girl who has an extrasensory perception to smell death before the person is about to die.
My God, this is quite terrifying. Trust me, being a first-time author, and no doubt you have written blogs and all before, but what was the thought process of writing such dark stuff? No doubt now, when I was seeing your profile and it was said that India's scariest book, which is your book. Now I understand why that title is given to your book. So what was the thought process like? How many days, how many months, how many years it took for you to pen this down?
Conceptually, right from the beginning till, the first editing was done, it took about like 2 years, basically. So usually the other writers can write a little bit faster, I believe, but due to COVID, due to job losses, due to various other factors, I think I slowed down my writing a little bit so that I gave more attention to whatever I was putting down. So it took me 2 years to complete it from conception.
It's quite beautiful because whatever you read, trust me, the proper knowledge and the details, everything, I could actually feel that when you were narrating. So beautiful, really beautiful. And for people who are listening, you still have a chance right now. You must read this book, and definitely whenever I go to India next, I will be purchasing this book. I will be reading this book, and for sure I'll be putting a review as well on my channel. So stay tuned, stay connected. So before we end our conversation, 2 more questions. So this is, if you can tell us top 3 things about your book, which will make it a must read for our listeners.
Top 3 is, it's pure horror. Pure horror in the sense the protagonists are not human beings. The protagonists are the evil entities. So they win at any moment. There is no happily ever after endings. And the second thing is, these are all real life experiences about people who have shared their experiences with me, which will make you connect to the stories in a bigger way, better way than so far the horror stories that you have read ever before. And the third important thing why you should read this book, like I said, is you'll get pretty scared. You'll get the emotion of fear outside. And when you deal with such kind of circumstances in your life, you'll know how to deal with it. The horror readers are the people who can deal with any kind of different circumstances. So the book will teach you. And just a small reminder that I've mentioned in the book as well, it's a caution, it's a disclaimer. Please do not read this book alone at night. So that's a warning.
I'll not put this on the episode, but is this a warning or this is just another marketing tactic? Even I come from the marketing background, so I
actually it's kind of both. I mean, like, if you don't say something, people say, no, I wanted to buy. But there are some people who are really sensitive to things which are horror. And then I don't want you to write back to me emailing saying that I didn't know that it was so scary. You know, then I could say, see, boss, I've told you already, it'll be scary if you're so sensitive. Don't read it alone. Don't read it at night. It will, it created something, some scary moments with me itself when I was writing. So obviously those emotions are there on the paper. So when you observe it, you will get those emotions right out. So it's a mix. So brave ones, please go read it. You will love it, definitely.
So for people who are listening, trigger warning for sure. Before reading it, be careful. First read the Bible and then you read this. Then you will not get scared. And in talking about marketing, 100 out of 100 for the title and for the book cover. And for sure, once I read the book, it is going to be amazing. It is amazing, but once I give a review on my channel, It's going to be the complete, episode where I've spoken to you and where I've given the review as well. So thank you for coming. It was really fun talking to you and really excited to get you again on my show where we can talk about your next book whenever it is going to come. I hope it comes soon. So thank you once again, and that's it from me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Desmond. Thank you for the listeners of your podcast. Thank you so much for taking this initiative on encouraging horror writers, especially doing everything paranormal and supernatural activities and all that stuff, which is pretty still now it's very, very nascent in India. And with your small initiative, I think this will also be a big talk of the town in the coming days.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I hope. Thank you guys for listening, and see you in my next episode. Ciao.